Hope you enjoyed the intro clip there when it comes to me playing some Warface again. This is a kind of a follow-up video, you might say, since I did make a Warface video some time ago asking the question if Warface was worth playing in 2023, 10 years after its release. If you want to check out that video later, I'll put it at the end of this video. Last time I played the game, I was still mostly positive about coming back playing some Warface again. However, due to your comments on that video, especially the pay-to-win aspect of the game and encounters with cheaters in Warface, I felt that it would be a good idea to return once more into the game. A game that I have, by the way, played on and off since the launch in 2013. And as you see in this video, mainly as a sniper, which goes for most FPS games that I'm playing. Back in the days, you could only play Warface by downloading the launcher from their website. Today the game can be downloaded via Steam, although you still start up the game using a launcher, and nowadays it's the My Games launcher. Around the summer of 2021, I believe they merged the servers into Warface International, which was supposed to give the players access to all regional servers. I believe there's regional servers in Amsterdam, Hong Kong, Istanbul, Washington and Sao Paulo. Russia has their own servers, and I believe that Warface might be more popular still in Russia compared to some other countries. I did encounter though some Russian players when playing the Amsterdam server, since I do live in Sweden. Nowadays, the player base is, of course, smaller than it used to be. After taking a quick look on the Steam charts, I saw that there's around 800 plus players on average playing, which is around 200 less on average since I last played Warface. But even so, the game has an audience, and I believe that the mix of PvP modes and PvE has been one reason, and a good reason, why a lot of people have been continuing to play the game. I haven't played much PvE at all in Warface, but you will see a few PvE clips towards the end of the video. Most people, I guess though, have spent time playing the 10 different PvP modes available in Warface, and you'll see a few of them in action in this video, although I most of the time got matched into TDM matches. You can of course change that as well if you don't want to play it. Matchmaking can also take a bit longer nowadays, and you'll usually get the question if you want to expand the search for matches, which means that you might get into a server that is situated on the other side of the globe from where you live. And that happened for me a few times, and I think it's needless to say that I didn't have that great of a ping when it happened, making it harder to perform well when playing. It can also be the opposite. For example, a Russian player that comes into an EU server, and if that player has a bad connection already, it will be quite tedious to play against him. Just an example. The graphics is of course a bit outdated now. I mean, the game is 10 years old. It's running on the old CryEngine, that's one thing. But the problems with Warface is more towards the strong pay-to-win aspect of this game. And that part might not be that obvious at first when you're coming into the game as a newcomer or a new player. Especially if you are a decent player though, you will then be able to play and perform pretty well in the start most likely, even though you're only using default weapons to start with. For me that has been the case. I've been doing pretty well in the game without buying guns that are somewhat better. At least that was the case until I downloaded Warface again a couple of days ago in order to make this video. Because just about an hour into my gameplay, I ranked up and could therefore no longer play against lower ranked players, as I've done before. Sure, I've faced higher ranked players now and then before when playing, but not as many as it is now and at the same time. First off, I need to say that of course I should also give credit to some guys actually being good players since they've spent time and many hours in the game, but it was also now that I truly realized how broken some guns are in the game, and I'm once more referring back to the pay-to-win aspect mostly. That in combination with the fact that they, some years ago, I don't exactly remember when, added armor into Warface, makes it somewhat, or sometimes quite annoying, and you have most likely already by now seen me getting some hit markers or downing people into kind of last stand, but still being killed by doing that. That was not the case in the early version of Warface, at least as I can remember it, and I do wish that they completely removed armor from the game to start with. I don't like that feature in games overall. I can understand if you're playing like a game such as Counter-Strike or something, but that's a whole nother discussion, I believe. Because as it works now, it also seems to create kind of an unbalance that is unnecessary. I also wish that they would start to think about the monetization system in the game when it comes to the pretty obvious pay-to-win situation. However, that would most likely not happen after all these years having it in the game. By the way, weapons, armor, and attachments are unlocked by earning arsenal points in co-op and versus matches. But you can also acquire new items like weapons and armor in exchange for Warface dollars or credits in the shop. All shop items are sorted by class, so you will only see items relevant to your current class. It also seems to be a problem with cheaters or hackers in the game, something that I also encountered when playing for some hours. It was one of those pretty obvious ones though, so everyone spotted him pretty early on in the game. I don't have a long time experience when it comes to cheaters in Warface, and furthermore I don't know how well the anti-cheat system works in the game and if it can detect the cheaters properly. But feel free to fill in here when it comes to your experience regarding this. But besides cheaters, armor, and some OP gold weapons or whatever you want to call them, pay-to-win guns, the game can still be pretty fun to play still. The gameplay or gunplay alongside with some of the game modes I played the recent days has been keeping me quite engaged. But is it enough for me to recommend you trying out Warface in 2023? I mean, is it still worth playing after all these years? After my latest experiences that I've talked about in the video, I'm a bit more hesitant than I was when making my former Warface video some months ago. I feel that it is a kind of a pity that the game fell into a pay-to-win kind of system, and I'm not sure that the idea of adding armor in this fashion, at least how it works in Warface, was such a good idea either. So I therefore will end the video with a maybe instead of a clear like yes or no, and let you decide yourself if you want to go and try out Warface yourself, or if you are like someone that has played the game before and wants to try it out again in 2023. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. It's always interesting to hear what you think as well. Thank you for watching, take care, and have a really beautiful day. Hopefully talk to you soon again in another upcoming video on my channel. So, peace. Later.
Evac is ready to go. You have only 20 seconds. Great job, team, but this isn't over. Stand by for mission brief.